All right, let's give you a vaccine update. So last week we talked about the really great news, and hold on with the slide for just a second. The great news was that we were going to get our first allocation of vaccines, that the vaccines are really effective, and that we believe they could potentially be administered by December the 15th. That's right around the corner. This Thursday, the FDA meets to consider emergency authorization for that Pfizer drug, which is the first vaccine that'll be on the market. And came the tougher part. We don't have that much. First allocation is just 38,025 doses. And to activate our long-term care program with CVS and Walmart, we have to allocate almost half of it to that program. That's a really important thing. Almost 66% of our deaths in Kentucky are in long-term care. That's compared to 40% for the rest of the nation. Per capita, we've been doing so much better than just about any state in preserving life here in Kentucky. But it's disproportionately falling, and it's because we're doing a better job with other populations on long-term care. So we want to be aggressive about vaccinating as quickly as possible that population, and that's why we have to engage that program with Walgreens and CVS immediately. Otherwise, there'll be a lag time in when that can get out. So that only left about a third of that initial allocation to begin the most needy of healthcare workers. And that's pretty tough, right? Because that's not nearly enough. Complicated on top of that, you can't break up the Pfizer vaccine for purposes of shipping into orders smaller than 960. So all of a sudden, we have a whole lot of hospitals and groups out there that want to be a part of the first round, and we can really only provide it to about 11. So it was going to be a challenge the whole time. And yes, everybody who wasn't announced as one of those first 11 is upset because they want to protect their people. That's natural. But we're going to face this problem, which is a good problem to have, the entire time we're waiting for vaccines. And right now it might be hospitals, but right after that, it's going to be, how quickly can we get our EMS workers? After that, it's going to be, why does this school system have a vaccination day that's a week before that school system? We will never have enough of this to do everybody that's similarly situated at the same time. So we're going to have to ask for patience. And it's going to be the hardest patience that anybody could ask for, because you're worried about losing somebody between now and when we could get the vaccine. But there is not enough to go around to everybody all at the same time. So we really need your help. We need your leadership, even if you're not in that initial trough. So here's the good news. Let's put up the slide. We believe that there may be as many as 5 separate shipments between the 2 vaccines in December alone. And that would be really, really good news. So that first week, we talk about December 15th, that going out to the 11 facilities, and you think, we really wanted to be a part of that first week. Well, it's our hope that very next week that we get our first shipment of Moderna vaccinations, and it's almost twice as much as is available that first week. Even better, it doesn't require the deep refrigeration. Even better than that, we can break it up into groups of 100, meaning we have more flexibility to get this second allocation out to more places. So if you're one of the facilities that's disappointed that you didn't get in the week of 13th through the 19th, probably the 15th, we may, and this all depends on the federal government, be able to get you your initial group as early as the very next week. So work with us. And again, know that there is never going to be as much as we want at the timing that we want it. Here's some other numbers. And these are all for Moderna, what the federal government has told us. They've given us these exact numbers. That doesn't mean that they won't change. But if the federal government changes, we'll let you know. So the first week that we get Moderna vaccines, we're going to get 76,700. We're told that the very next week we'll get another 33,800. So about 100,000 initial doses of the Moderna vaccine. We believe in December. The worst we think right now that it happened is that could bleed into the first week of January. And these are all the first doses. So the federal government tells us that they are holding back the second dose, the booster, And for Pfizer, they will ship that 3 weeks after the initial dose. That's when it needs to be provided. And it's 4 weeks after the Moderna. Now, what's not shown on here is we believe that we are going to have 2 more shipments of the Pfizer vaccine. We also hope that those are in December, but we haven't been given firm numbers. All we can do right now is estimate on the numbers that they say overall they're going to have based on our allocation the first time, but I want to get more detailed numbers. I want the federal government to put that into the system because I feel like we can rely on that a little bit better before we provide that information. Now, even if we get those extra 2 shipments from Pfizer in December, there is only going to be enough for long-term care, which again, we want that vaccination program to go as quickly as possible. If we can cut off 66% of our fatalities in the first 2.5 months of our program, oh my. And that'll be us doing something really special. And then our frontline healthcare workers, those that are impacted the most or exposed the most to COVID. So better news in how much we anticipate we're going to get, but still not getting past that first grouping, at least for December. But the more we get in December, the faster we can potentially move to other groups January, February. So that's good news.